Hey everybody, welcome back to The Complete Game, episode 78. I'm your host, Curt Schilling. He is your co-host, Curt Schilling. What's up, G?
Nothing much. Just coming off a Dodgers must-needed win.
Yeah,
Yoshinobu Yamamoto does what he needed to
yeah.
do.
They, transcendent performance. Again, after one of the most dominating postseason games ever thrown, he comes out and I don't know. I mean, I said earlier, you beat great pitchers earlier, you don't beat them. Throws 23 pitches in the first. They work the counts, get the at-bats. He gets out of it, and it was never a game after that. I
And
mean,
he
Gausman
retired
threw
the last
well.
20.
Yeah. Gausman threw well. Went into what I can't remember. It
Seventh
went
inning, he gave up
into
the two shots.
seventh inning. Right. It went into yeah. It was 1-1 after 6, and they were both dealing. And then Dodgers get two solo shots. Smith and Muncy on a couple of mistakes, and it was over. He was never in trouble late. He was just dominant. He
He retired the
punched
last
out 8,
20.
no
He
walks.
found his stuff
Yeah,
as he went on. He got better
yeah,
as the game went on. As you
yeah,
talked about the guys that have that
yeah.
kind of mojo, they get better as they get into a groove, especially if they get out of a situation like he did in the first. No one's going to touch me now because that's all you're getting, as you
Beat him
said.
early or don't beat him, and they didn't beat him early, and so now we're headed back to L.A. with the Dodgers having home field in a best of 5. Glasnow versus Scherzer. I, I'm I think the line is right. I definitely would expect LA to walk away from this one up 2-1. But I think that a lot of it's going to be around Glasnow's fastball command and control early in the game. Um, can't let it get away from him. He's punched out 18 over 13 innings. He also walked 8.
What you
And
what you mean, by the way, for people that aren't looking at the line, is the Dodgers are heavily favored at home. So do you still feel confident that they'll wrap it up in a gentleman's sweep?
not as confident as I was earlier. I mean, this Toronto team, and it's every year. The two teams left are really, really good. I mean, I'm
Shocking.
stating the obvious, but
Breaking
but
news here on the Complete Game
people,
podcast.
well,
Both
but
teams in the
people
World
look
Series are
at it
really
and
good.
they're like, but it's like people look at it like, I said 4, and again, no disrespect. The Blue Jays had a monster season. I just didn't expect Blake Snell to crap the bed. And I don't know that he crapped the bed as much as Toronto had really good at bats. And Savage threw well for 4 innings and all that goes with that. If it ended up 4-1, I wouldn't be shocked. But I can like I said, if Glasnow doesn't have his fastball command, then he's not gonna get them 6 or 7 innings, and the Dodger middle relief is going to show up, and I don't know that that's gonna end well in any game for the Dodgers. That's what's gonna rely on. This is not the Max Scherzer of old. Uh, it's a different guy. Doesn't mean he can't navigate that lineup, but he's going to have to be close to perfect, and he knows it. Uh, he'll be fired up. He'll be firing. He'll be up a couple miles an hour from fastball velocity perspective, but I'm not sure that he's in an area where that's worrisome for Dodger hitters. So Blue Jays are going to need. I think. I don't know. I think if you're the Blue Jays, you go into this game trying to get him to throw a lot of pitches early, like you did Yamamoto. But you don't. I would be okay with taking a first pitch because this is not a guy who paints the corners. It's a guy with power stuff, not power command, but power stuff. So love the arm. I've always loved the arm, but he's going to need to be sharp, and he's going to need to get them into the 7th. I think for people to be comfortable, and I don't think there's any game, and I'll ask you this: is there any game where you feel comfortable as the Dodgers with the 1-run lead going into the 7th inning?
No,
And I
definitely,
mean, if I can get to
definitely not.
Sasaki, right?
I was gonna say definitely not, especially with Bo Bichette, who was absent in the lineup until he pinch hit late in the game. Will be back. That was announced 4 hours ago. We're recording on Sunday night, so Bo Bichette will be back in the lineup starting for Game 3, which I think makes that lineup completely different, like it was in Game 1. And if they're gonna have a shot yeah, it's going to have to come, like you said before the series preview, from the Dodgers bullpen. They're going to have to take advantage of and try and get through Glasnow as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I think the ideal, if I'm Dave Roberts, obviously the ideal is that Tyler goes out and just shuts him down, does a complete game. I think in his heart of hearts, what he's praying for is 7 from Glasnow and 6 outs from Sasaki. I don't think they want any, but I don't know. I'm not so, I'm not, I don't know what the word is. I'm not as confident as everybody else is with Sasaki outside of an inning. I mean, he had the one bad inning the other day.
Comfortable.
Right. But I mean, if you're the Dodgers, that's in your head. That's what you're thinking is, hey, get 21 outs from Tyler, and then let Sasaki go out there and get me the final 6. And then we go to Ohtani, which, that's the challenge, I think, too, right? I mean, game 3, if Glasnow goes 7, you get 6 outs from Sasaki. Ohtani's not going 9. So you're gonna, are you gonna burn Sasaki? You're not gonna bring him back another day after six he throws 2 innings, or are you? I don't know. I mean, this is the World Series, and kind of the rules go out the window, but they don't. And so I'd be curious to see how that plays out.
Do you think the Dodgers burn everything like that? Like in the sense of like we're not planning on going back to Toronto. So
well, I don't think you ever look at it that way. You can't.
Obviously, that depends on like game 1. They weren't doing that because it was 11-1 at one point.
Right.
But.
You'd love to not go back to Toronto, but that doesn't get into your head until you're up 3-1 playing game 5.
Okay.
And they've been there before, and Dave has been there before, so he's not going to allow that to happen. But I guess the question is, do you manage tomorrow all or nothing? Like I said, because Ohtani's not going 9.
That's what I mean.
So
that's what I'm saying from a
game
sense
4,
of
you're going to have to have
a
bullpen. Right. And so so then maybe ideally you pray for 8 from Glasnow. But how many times has he gone 8 this year, right? You don't need a hand to count that.
Against the Toronto Blue Jays, I doubt.
Right. So, and that's why I said fastball command is going to be everything tomorrow early in the game. I don't care how good his breaking stuff is. If he's not moving the ball and keeping the ball down and moving in and out pretty comfortably, hitting his spots, he'll have 90 pitches after 4 1/3, and you'll be knee deep in the Dodger bullpen. And it's possible he could go 5 innings, throw 105 pitches, and shut Toronto out. I mean, that's entirely possible because that's what a lineup like that will do to you. So I'll be curious to see how that plays out. But
one thing I wanted to ask you about, we kind of talked about it off air because I called you during the game, is obviously you and Mom are both cancer survivors. Stand Up to Cancer is a great cause that's across all 4 major sports, but a little bizarre moment during, I think it was the 6th inning, they had the Jonas Brothers play a full 4-minute song concert for the entire Rogers Center, which, I mean, again, Stand Up to Cancer, very great cause, not disparaging that they do that in the middle of the game at all, right. But it is a long break. Awesome.
It's very emotional.
And it's cool to see all the guys with their own signs too. But what I wanted to ask you is, for someone like Gausman, who it's wild that they did that, I think, for the home starter. You'd think you'd do that to Yamamoto, especially when he's grooving that good. Right. But is that something they have to tell you, the World Series or MLB or the stadium? They would tell you as the starter, right?
Right. That was attention to detail. You've heard me say that many, many times, attention to detail. In Game 7 of the 2001 World Series, they wanted to play the game with the roof open because Fox wanted to do a flyover and they wanted to do this other stuff. And I said, listen, guys, I mean, I went to Mr. Colangelo, the owner of the team, and I said, hey, listen, I said, I'm not for nothing. And I don't want you to think that this is me being a prima donna, but I'm a fly ball pitcher, and you and I both know this park plays bigger with the roof closed. I think it's to our advantage to have the roof closed, and I don't think it should be open by any stretch because I think that doesn't play into my strengths tonight. So we had the flyover with the roof open. They immediately closed it before the game started. And it was kind of funny because they opened it the minute I came out of the game. And then we had this really weird, cosmic thing happen on the field where it started to kind of rain a little bit on the field, and there was like a windy, dusty thing. It was like divine intervention. But if I'll give you another one. 1999 All-Star game, the game that they brought Ted Williams out on the field to meet the players. Pedro and I both were starting that game. Both of us got hurt during that game, and I think it was directly because of this. They started the game 45 minutes late. So I warmed up for an extra 45 minutes. And my adrenaline was going, and I was through an enormous amount, which I shouldn't have.
And it's like a 45-minute inning with that adrenaline. Like you're not
That's exactly
really
right.
rearing back.
Exactly. So I was always, and I did that with the home crowd. Like, I had this, I was in a mental place when I pitched where I got myself into focus and all this other stuff. And I asked whatever team, I said, listen, when I'm on the days that I pitch, I'm going to ask the PR department, let's not have the things where people go out on the field and stand with the players. He said, I don't want to be put into a situation where I make some kid feel horribly uncomfortable because I'm kind of locked in and he wants an autograph or something on the field. I just wanted to avoid those because, again, you're paying me an enormous amount of money to win, not pitch. Everybody can pitch in the big leagues. You're paying me to win games. And this is how I need to do things to be as good as I can be. And it wasn't, again, not a prima donna thing. It was just a mindset thing. And, that was that. Well, I mean, and for the most part, they were good with it. You only can do that when you're good. Like, if I was like the fifth starter, they would be like, yeah, dude, just take the ball and shut your mouth and go out and pitch. So as I got older, that happened less.
I took the screenshot and sent it to you. They had the graphic that Yamamoto became the first guy since you in 2001 to throw back-to-back consecutive postseason complete games. And I wanted to mention this at some point. It's one of my favorite parts, the interpreter interviews after the game. He said, today's game we had to win, so that's how I treated this game. Just as basic and as rudimentary as you can put it, but that is exactly the type of mentality like you have to have. It's as simple as that. Like, we have to win this game. I know that going into it. I am the person. I am going to play and pitch the entire game. That's who they got him to
as
be.
an athlete, you realize at some point, every great athlete, the great athlete at some point realizes you can will yourself to do things. That
little voice in your head, you can ignore that, and you can go beyond and further than that.
You can have that little voice in your head can make you say and do things that you never thought you could possibly do yesterday. And you have to do it once or twice to realize that you're capable of it. But yeah, I mean, that was the best, and I've told you this, that was the best run of pitching I ever did, was the 0-1 postseason. I threw 3 straight complete games, 1-0, 2-1, and like 6-1 beat the Braves, and then went 7 times, which was kind of cool because that I actually threw 4 straight complete games in the postseason, because '93, my last postseason start, was a complete game shutout against Toronto, and then I threw the shutout against St. Louis. Matt Morris and I hooked up twice, which was a blast. 1-0, 2-1 games. Tony Womack walked them off. No, it was cool. I said this to you last night. I find it funny that people are talking about this like somebody hit 5 home runs last night. I mean, he threw his second straight complete game. I'm not diminishing what he did. What he did was amazing. But the fact is, they're like, oh my God, in this era of baseball, I can't believe this guy threw 18 innings and 2 starts.
That's what I was going to say. Like, remember when they got him, like, he was the complete game pitcher from Japan. Like, you have to go around the world to find a guy that can throw complete games back to back now, which is crazy. Right, like, that was the standard for an S-tier playoff pitcher back in 20 years ago.
I'm not downplaying it. He 2 phenomenal efforts, and that was a must-win. That really was a must-win. Now
on
you
the
got
road
LA with the home field advantage, right? And and I like I said, if we'll talk after this game happens, but pay close attention to, if you're watching the game tomorrow night, to Glasnow's fastball command in the first couple innings, because if it isn't what it needs to be, they're going to run him out of the game early. So, all right, hey guys, thanks again. Hey. Something happened. We got like 11,000 views on the show, one of the shows, like 2 shows ago, which was very cool. Yeah. But keep spreading the word, guys. We're growing and having a blast doing this. So we'll catch up with you guys soon.
Yep,
All right, G, I love
absolutely.
you,
We'll
bud. I'll
talk about
talk
game
to
3 when
you
we get
on
back.
Tuesday. All right, bud.
Love you.